vibe. You have plaids, I have stripes, and we're live.
Welcome to Holistic Kid Show. My name is Zane.
And my name's Abdullah.
We are the Holistic Kids here to educate and empower us kids from the inside out. With everything that is happening in the world today, it is our absolute honor to talk to a TV personality, Dr. Romie, for the most important topic of our time today, stress. And we have a secret for all of you parents. You guys aren't the only ones that can get stressed. Us kids are getting stressed a lot, and stress can cause us all to get sick. So this is a must. Hear, talk today.
Dr. Romie is a triple board certified physician and serves as the chief wellness officer for Evolution Hospitality, where she has implemented mindfulness and wellness programs for over 7,000 employees. She is on a mission to transform the brain and mental health in the workplace. Dr. Romie's expertise is routinely featured in the national media and on global stages for corporations, athletes, and professional associations. Dr. Romie is bringing her innovative research based in neuroscience, integrative medicine, and mindfulness to teach the brain shift protocol. Yay. Right, Zan?
Yay!
Yay! I'm so happy to be here with you, Abdullah and Zen. That was a great job. That's a complicated bio, and you did it better than 90% of the adults that have to read it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Romie, for joining us today. We would love to hear your story. How does a brain doctor go to become a doctor focused on helping others manage stress?
Oh, that is a really good question. One thing is we do in medical school and in residency training, when I was training to be a brain doctor in neurology, we learn both neurology and psychiatry about how when you think and how you feel can change your brain and cause issues with your brain and your body. So I think that's part of my medical training, but I'll tell you all a really true story. And do you know 10 years ago, I was so stressed out working as a doctor. I know you probably see from your mom when we are doctors, we have to get up in the middle of the night, right? So when there's an emergency, that was the kind of specialty that I had. And I didn't sleep very well all the time. And all that and not knowing how to manage my stress made me very sick. And I actually almost died. I had to have surgery that saved my life. This was exactly 10 years ago. And that's how I discovered all the things that we're going to talk about today, integrative medicine and mindfulness. And that's why I teach it now. I don't want other adults who are working too hard, like the parents that are, watching your show, to go through the same thing I did. It wasn't fun.
So let's get started with the basics for kids. What is stress?
Yeah, so we sometimes think for kids, stress is too much homework, right? Or you want to play video games and your parents say you have to clean your room instead. Or you have to eat that nasty looking vegetable instead of dessert, right? And so you think that's what stress is. It's something somebody else is telling you to do that you don't want to do. But that's actually not stress. Stress is, there's always going to be stuff going on in our lives, whether you're a kid or adults, that you don't like. And stress is actually how you manage your feelings. And it's normal to feel bad from time to time. And that can trigger chemicals to go off in the brain that can make you feel angry or depressed or anxious. But when those chemicals get out of control, they cause this fire in an area of your brain known as the amygdala, your airport traffic control center. And that can lead to all sorts of problems in your brain and in your body. And it doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a newborn baby, whether you're 9 or 12, like the both of you, or whether you're my age. And we're not going to talk about how old I am on this show right now.
That's amazing. We believe we are more stressed now than ever before, especially with everything that is going on in the world today. What are the statistics of how stress affects kids? is it really affecting us kids, or is it just a figure of our imagination?
No, you're not imagining at all. And that's a really smart question to ask, because too many times parents may be stressed out because they got sick or they lost their job during this pandemic, or politics. We're recording this interview before the presidential election here in the United States. And they lie to their kids and say, I'm fine. And parents think their kids believe them. And when kids can read body language of a mom or dad and they're gritting their teeth and saying, I'm fine, that'll make kids even more stressed. And when adults or your parents or your loved ones, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever's helping to raise you, needs to teach us how to express our feelings. Like, for instance, we were all dealing with technical issues before we logged on. It's okay for me to say, oh, I'm Romie and I was feeling frazzled because I couldn't connect my microphone properly, right? That we have to learn to be able to say our feelings. And is stress a problem for kids right now? Absolutely. And, we're here in the United States. I know this podcast goes to listeners all over the world, but here in the United States, depending on what state you're in, people are in various phases of lockdown. And for the most part, kids are not going to schools. And that's very stressful. Kids want to see their friends. They want to see their teachers. Most kids learn better when they're in person, but there's a real risk of, kids bringing an infection home and spreading this pandemic. And so all of that's really scary because it feels out of our control. So, the stress numbers are high. We don't have accurate statistics yet for 2020, but here's something that I found in my research was before this pandemic started, for any kid that's between the age of 3 and 17, it's estimated that here in the United States, 7% of children have a mental health problem. And that's only the kids that are getting diagnosed. So 7%, that means 7 out of every 100 kids has anxiety or depression. And I think that's not even getting to all the kids that may have a problem. That's a very high number, by the way. And that's much higher than when I was your age. I want to make that clear. It's a lot worse now.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
So horrible.
But
Why do you think stress is on a rise in kids? Do you think electronics is a part of this?
Yeah, I'm about to give an answer that may not make me very popular with you boys or any of your friends. I'm really sorry to say this, but when you're playing video games on your iPhone or your iPad or even your TV or your laptop or computer, and then you have to be on your laptop or computer for school too these days, right? Your eyes are glued to this screen, and the blue light that comes from devices, even if you wear, I don't know, have you seen these? These are blue blocking glasses, right? When you wear these blue blocking glasses, they'll just protect you from getting a headache, but your stress hormone levels, here's a good one for you all to test your own teacher on: cortisol goes up. And even if you're having fun on social media or playing video games or watching a TV show you like or YouTube, your stress hormone levels go up. And guess what happens when your stress hormone levels go up? It makes it difficult to focus. So if we go back to medical studies and statistics, we know that the longer children are in front of computer screens, the more likely they are to have something known as ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and even anxiety. So absolutely, sitting too long in front of the screen will definitely cause your brain to stress out, whether you're a kid or an adult.
We know stress leads to about 80% of the conditions that present to primary care physicians. What does stress really do to the brain and body?
So remember I said that there's this area in your brain, I call it the airport traffic control tower of your brain. It's the amygdala, the hippocampus. It's behind both of your ears. Can you both point to your ears right now? Yeah, so right inside your brain, behind both of that ears, and that whole little area of your brain controls the rest of your brain and your body, like all the airport runways going everywhere. So it controls how our brain functions, our memory, like how smart we are, like if you can remember what you learned in school or how well you're going to do on a test, and it controls your mood and how happy or sad you are. But that airport traffic control tower even controls the rest of your body, your heart, your stomach, your immune system. So if you're really stressed out, like all those systems start to malfunction. It's kind of like if there's snow at an airport and they have to close the airport traffic control tower, they have to close all the runways and the airplanes can't land or take off. Well, imagine how your brain feels if it's all snowed in and stressed out. That it's the same concept.
We know that chronic stress affects our decisions and stressful life events weaken this connection and promotes new neural growth in the amygdala, leading to bad decision making.
Whoa, you know more brain science than 99% of the adults I'm talking to. You were prepped really well. Yes, you are absolutely right. So aside from the anxiety and depression we were talking about in the last question, when we're stressed out, it affects our mood. And so now all of a sudden, no matter what's happening, people are going to have a negative mood. In psychology, this can be known as projection, right? So we're stressed out. And so even if I say, here's your favorite drink from Starbucks, it's probably going to make me sick anyway, rather than saying, yay, thank you, I want to be happy. That's a very oversimplified version of it to explain to you both. But it's like all of a sudden somebody put these glasses on you and you're seeing the whole world from an angry point of view or a confused point of view than clarity. And that's exactly what happens. And when we're stressed out, then our mood gets depressed, and also our ability to reason and make decisions is difficult. By decisions, it may be as simple as, what do you want to cook for dinner tonight or eat for dinner? Or gosh, you have to take a test and it's multiple choice and you're struggling and you know the answer, but you can't figure out what's the right one.
Can stress lead to other chronic conditions that affect kids?
Absolutely, Zen. Yeah. When kids are chronically stressed out, here are a couple of things that I really worry about. Your immune system, that's your defense system, the warrior cells in your body. And when kids are stressed out, they're more likely to get sick, whether it's a cough or a cold or the flu or even chronic diseases. We know, and we talked about mental health already, and it's not very common that I see. When I was practicing neurology, kids coming to me, they were so stressed out, they were getting things anywhere from bad migraine headaches to neck pain, stomach pain, having difficulty eating foods and digesting it. When kids are really stressed out, you may feed them their favorite food, and it's even healthy. It's exactly what Dr. Musthaq tells you to make for your kids, and yet their stomach is gurgling, and they're having indigestion or upset stomach, saying, Mom, I feel like I want to throw up. That's what stress can do.
A lot of kids have a busy brain.
Yeah.
What can kids do to calm stress?
I think it's a good idea. So I'm going to ask you all because I know I'm older and not as cool as the both of you. Is it really common to be up late at night before bedtime playing video games or watching YouTube? Tell me what life is like these days in a pandemic.
Life is like these days. You're just staring at a screen for like the whole day. That's what it feels like.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? Yeah. And
yeah, it does.
It does. And even if you think you're having fun because you're watching your favorite TV show or a video game or on, Instagram or TikTok, here's the problem is, that's going to disturb all of the airport traffic control tower. So one of the things I want to tell a busy brain to calm is, can you find something to do in the middle of the day and before bedtime that's away from a screen? Now, look, I know you all are in Chicago and it's really cold outside, but even if it means, putting on your jackets and hat and glove and going out for 5 minutes and breathing the cold air and, or, going and playing in your basement or finding a place to run around and do something that doesn't involve a screen. Try to do that for at least 5 to 10 minutes in the middle of your day to break up that zombie screen time, and definitely about an hour before bed. So that's the hard part. When I was growing up, we had a lot of toys and things we would naturally do that didn't involve screens because it wasn't a part of our life. But I feel like kids today have to learn how to do these other things. Like, what are some things you all like to do? Putting together puzzles, painting, crayons.
Legos, like build them.
Oh yeah, Legos.
Yeah.
That is a great activity to do in the daytime or even before bedtime because it improves your hand-eye coordination. It makes you focus. So it's actually training your brain to focus and finish a task, whereas computers make us more scatterbrained.
Yeah. Can we talk about mindfulness?
Yes.
What is it and how does it affect our body and our brain?
Oh, will you both just take a minute and take a big deep breath for me? And exhale. See, when we breathe, it brings us here to this present moment. And all I'm focused on is looking at my screen at your beautiful smiling faces. And you're looking back at mine. And it teaches us to be present. That's mindfulness. It's training our brain to feel calm and be present. And we can do it by remembering to breathe. And it sounds a little silly and basic, doesn't it? Because breathing is a mechanism that our brain does subconsciously when we're not even thinking about it. But when we think about something, it becomes conscious. So when we consciously breathe, let's do that all together. Inhale, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Hold the breath, and now open up your mouth wide and exhale. Yes. See, breathing like that, like just for 3 minutes, all of a sudden calms down a busy brain and you're like, oh, I'm not so frazzled anymore. And we can focus. And doing that controlled breathing is a great step to even starting meditation. Can I show you all something that I normally don't do on camera? That is one of my favorite meditations or breathing exercise based in yoga. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Okay. It's called lion's breath. And if I'm on a call or I get an email that makes me upset or angry, because even I get angry sometimes, do you know what? I do the lion's breath. And this is how you do it. You have to cross your eyes and stick out your tongue and breathe out. Do you want me to show you how to do it? And then you do it? Okay. All of us inhale and that's the lion's breath. And doesn't it make you want to laugh? Okay, let's all do it again. Ready? Inhale and exhale. That's the lion's breath. And it just makes me laugh. And it kind of wiggles up your senses. And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to be angry. I'm a brave lion.
Wow. That was amazing. We love meditating. We actually use part of our lunch hour to meditate. And we always start our meditation with being mindful. How can kids start to be more mindful?
Wow. You just gave a great example to do it when you're eating. So I think the first step I want to tell all parents first is parents need to practice being mindful and meditating before you force your kids to do it, because it's kind of not fair, is it? Why are kids going to do it if your mom or dad or grandparent or aunt or uncle, whoever's raising you at home, isn't doing it? So my advice always is starts with the parents or the adults in the home. It starts that way. And then we do it all together. And I think for your age, it's perfect is you have to make sure to put all of your phone and laptop and iPads and everything away. And you can sit and you can do about 3 to 5 deep breaths like we just did. Should we count one more out for everybody that's watching or listening later? You take a nice deep breath, counting to 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. And you hold the breath and then you open up the mouth and deep exhale out. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. You both have such strong lungs. So you inhale to the count of 3, hold it, and you push the air out to the count of 4. That your exhale is longer than the inhale. So that's a really great way to start. And then when you want to meditate, here's something fun that I tell kids to do is if it's not too cold outside and you can go out and stare at the clouds, is to do that and just look at the clouds. And if you're inside the house with an adult, you can stare at an object like the fire in the fireplace or a candle. Make sure your mom and dad light it for you, right? It's just looking and watching something and breathing and just focusing and quiet. And that's what I find has helped kids most, is having something to focus on, but something that isn't moving, zigzagging all over the house. Like my dog, right before we got on, I have a dog named Raja. He was running all over the house. So if you're meditating and watching a dog or a cat that's going all over, it's kind of hard. But just something that's kind of standing still with just a little bit of motion. Even a fish tank is a great option.
We hear a lot about the importance of sleep.
Yeah.
Does proper sleep help us lower overall stress?
Yes, and that is really smart. Yeah, sleep, for me, I know a lot of integrative and functional medicine doctors like myself and your mom talk about gut health, but I'm a little biased. And from the brain, I always start all my patients, whether they're kids or adults, on a proper sleep protocol first. Because remember, the brain controls the rest of your brain and your body. And if you're not sleeping, we can't drop that stress hormone levels down. We want your airport traffic controls tower in the brain to be like working perfectly. And so it starts with sleep. And, for adults, we say 6 to 8 hours. But gosh, I have to say, in these days with politics and the pandemic, we're stressed out. If you need to sleep even more than 8 hours, it's okay. And for young gentlemen or ladies that are your age, around 9 to 12 years old, it's even longer than that, like 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And by the way, no phone, no TV on in the room, none of those things that go ding, somebody just send you a message on, I don't know, WhatsApp or Keek. I don't even know what all of you are using to message every day. I'm so uncool that way. But yeah, definitely no phones and other things that are going to make noise in your bedroom, for sure.
How can kids improve their sleep?
Well, that was the first one, is no TV or phones or any screens about 30 minutes or an hour before bedtime. So like you all do, play Legos or find something else to do with mom and dad. Read a real book or a magazine, for sure. So I think that's one thing. The next thing to do to improve sleep, I think one of the great things is to have bath time. If the adults in the house can schedule it right before bedtime, it helps to calm kids down, especially these days when we've been stuck in front of screens all day. And then, like I said, do not have the TV on as background noise, the stereo or music on, or digital devices. Now, there's special sleep music you can use. Or if you're going to use a guided meditation, let the adult in your house play the guided meditation for you to fall asleep, but take the phone out of the room. Otherwise, if you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or you want a glass of water, it's too easy to pick up your phone again, isn't it? So we don't want to do that. Yeah.
With a lot of us on our computers all day now, does the artificial light affect our brains?
Yes, that's a really good question. And I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. We know that there's blue light, but did you know that the latest research that came out in November of 2019 shows any kind of light coming from our screens or even the lamps, or you can see my lamp is flickering in my home office above us right now, right? Is all of that is telling your eyes, wake up, and it's telling your brain, wake up, right? And so that's going to make us, especially at nighttime, if we've got all these lights on and the screens on in front of our brain, it's going to tell us to keep thinking and worrying and analyzing and think about your math homework or your video game or what level you're going to get to next or all of that stuff. And it becomes really hard to calm down and fall asleep. So definitely that has and because all of us, adults and kids, are sitting in front of the screen all day, it's making us all feel more stressed and anxious, and we can't focus and just really kind of tired and wired all the time.
True. With the projections of over 70% moving to large cities by 2050, we are all moving away from nature. Why is nature so important to lower stress?
Well, that statistic was true before the pandemic. It's interesting. I think we're going to have to see what happens. first, Abdullah, right? Because we don't know right now. We're seeing that a lot of the people that were in big cities, so they could live near work and because they wanted to be near all the excitement, right? Like living in downtown Chicago where you all are, or I live in downtown Orlando. Well, now the restaurants and theaters and all the fun places you go as kids or adults are closed. And people are realizing, oh, I can move out to nature. I can move out to the suburbs, or I can move to another state even. And you find actually more people are understanding the body needs nature. There are clinical studies that show that started in Japan that if you walk in a forest quietly meditating, just breathing and focusing on all the different trees and the sunshine and all of that, that it drops our stress hormone levels by half. And that adults could have a normal blood pressure and kids and adults could get rid of anxiety. And so now we look that when you're in nature and your eyes are seeing something outside and you're smelling the outside and you're touching it and you're tasting the outdoors, not to say to eat dirt, but you're feeling all of it. It actually calms the brain down and it calms the stress hormones down. And so one of the things we've been telling people during the pandemic is to go outside barefoot. It's known as earthing or grounding, if possible, and just breathe and take some deep breaths and feel the ground, the grass or the mud or the sand under your feet. Now, again, I'm sorry. Do you all have snow yet when we're recording this podcast in Chicago, or is it just really cold?
We had a little bit of snow, but
already. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend going out barefoot in the snow, but when this pandemic is over, I hope you will come with your mom and visit me in Florida. And then you can see in a place like this, you can go year round barefoot outside. But even if you're in cold weather, because most of the people listening to this podcast or watching live are in cold weather right now, at least go outside and hold a tree or touch a flower and breathe and focus on it, even for a few minutes, and you'll feel better.
Yeah, we love to go hiking, right, Zen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're there where all the leaves are changing. It must be so pretty and relaxing. Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is one thing kids can do to start improving our busy brains?
Well, how about Zen and Abdullah and you, all three of us will give people different ideas of things they can do instead of being at their screens. So the big thing is to reduce your screen time, but we want to give people some fun options to do instead of being at their screen. So I'm going to start with one and say painting. It doesn't matter if you're an artist. I like painting on paper with watercolors or oil. How about you? Do you have an idea?
Drawing.
Okay.
Boring.
Yeah, I like to read.
You like to read a book, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I loved your idea of Legos. I think sometimes even helping mom and dad with chores, they would be less stressed out if you put up your toys for the room. I know that's not as fun. How about helping an adult in the house cook something like bake? That's a good option, right? I've seen pictures of you all baking. What else do you, and you talked about hiking and being outside. If people have pets, just play with your pet on the floor. I get down on the floor with my dog and just give him a doggy massage and watch him roll around and chase toys, right? All those things are examples of things to do that get away from the screen. So that's what I would tell kids to do. One thing and spend 30 minutes a day away from your screen, at least.
We love your Brain Shift program. Can we dive into what that Brain Shift program is?
Yeah, so the Brain Shift program was actually created for adults. So all the parents that are listening to this podcast. And here's what happened is the people I normally work with are type A personalities, unapologetic, just like me, Dr. Romie, right? And we can get worked up and stressed out really easy. It's kind of like when I was your age, it was like straight A's and that was it. And that's kind of what happens. And so when we get stressed out, we get imbalanced and we can get sick with all sorts of symptoms. So the Brain Shift protocol tackles what I call the root cause of all of the stress, right? Because we know we can't stop politics, or we think, okay, let me just take an antacid for my acid reflux. But instead, SHIFT stands for S is sleep, H is addressing hormones, especially thyroid, I is inflammatory markers like vitamin D, F is talking about fuel, how we fuel our bodies, and T is technology. So I walk corporate clients and companies through that, and adults on my website, that if they're having problems, to start joining me and learning about the Brain Shift protocol.
That's amazing.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Dr. Romie, you are doing such amazing work. Where can people learn more about you and your amazing work?
Well, thank you both. This has been so much fun this week. This is probably one of the best interviews I've had. So I want to thank you both for preparing. I can tell you both worked really hard. You really are understanding what happens in the brain and the body a lot better than a lot of adults that interview me for television regularly. So first, thank you both. I'm very proud of you, if I can say that, as one of your adopted aunties. I'm so proud of how smart you both are and well spoken. And if people want more information, they can go to my website. If you're following along live or looking through the chat comments, the producer of the show, the brilliant Dr. Madiha in the background, is putting a link that on November 5th, for our Brain Shift community, we have a free webinar on positivity over politics. I've noticed that because of the pandemic and politics, adults are saying, yeah, Dr. Romie, the things I used to do for my health aren't working anymore. So I'm going to break down the 4 panic personality types for adults and why you get those symptoms you get. And you can join for free. We're going to figure out what your panic personality is. Do you know what the 4 panic personality are, guys? I'll preview them here for you. It's known as the magician, the sassy queen, the smooth operator, or a force of nature. Those are the 4 personality types and what happens when you panic. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was so empowering. Everyone, make sure to follow Dr. Romie on social media. To recap Dr. Romie's key points.
Your thoughts, feelings, emotions have an effect on your physical and mental health, and then affects our emotional, spiritual, and psychological well-being. Stress can weaken your immune system, destroy your gut bacteria, promote the overgrowth of bad bacteria, increasing leaky gut and leaky brain, increases your blood sugar levels, and leading to insulin resistance or prediabetes, and really leading to all chronic diseases. 2. Incorporating daily regular stress management techniques like prayer, breathing techniques, mindfulness, meditation, and following Dr. Romie's Brain Shift program can really help decrease anxiety, lower blood pressure, and help heart rate. Keep damaging hormones at bay, change gene expression, improve blood circulation and digestion, lower inflammation, and enhance the overall immune system, having a powerful positive effect on you and your brain and body. Incorporating these stress management skills can help keep damaging hormones at bay, teaching our bodies to be a little calmer and more resilient, no matter what life throws at us.
So make sure to follow Dr. Romie's Brain Shift protocol and focus on sleep, hormones, inflammatory markers, fuel, and technology. 1. Ask for sleep. Make sure you are able to optimize your sleep by working on getting to bed on time. Fix your sleep patterns by getting early morning sunshine for 20 minutes and stay away from technology 30 to 60 minutes before bed.
2. H for hormones. Cortisol is a stress hormone that increases when you are stressed. So incorporate stress management techniques like meditation, mindfulness, and going out in nature and deep breathing can help you keep those damaging hormones at bay.
3I is for inflammatory markers. Kids' inflammation is getting worse day by day as we kids are getting sicker and sicker. So living a lifestyle that will lower inflammation is important. Lots of gratitude, optimizing sleep, social health, social health, and lowering stress and toxins, along with keeping your gut bugs happy by next letter.
Next letter. 4. F is for fuel. Eat real foods, not artificial fake foods. And even wheat and dairy that most people can be sensitive to. T is for technology. Technology is messing with our kids' brains and our brains. So make sure we limit technology and be able to get lots of good light by going outside and use blue blocking glasses. And we are on technology. When we are on technology, get good light or use blue light blockers.
Wow, Dr. Romie, that was amazing. Thank you for making this so easy for us. So empowering. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zain Ansari.
And my name's Abdullah.
Follow my family on social media, Holistic Mom MD, and look out for my mom's book, The Holistic RX, Your Guide to Healing Chronic Inflammation and Disease, and the amazing children's book we wrote together called Adam's Healing Adventures. So check it out on Amazon. Yay! Thank you.
Thank you both. That was amazing. You all did a great job. I'm so excited to have been here with you both.